Dave Parker, you are an ex-IBMer, and
hmm
all the best people used to work for IBM. You're the co-founder and director of Parker Neal Limited, which delivers leading-edge cybersecurity and data governance services.
Yep.
Topics that have seen a lot of press coverage this year, I'm sure. We're recording this in August 2025. And in fact, let me ask you that first question. Thank you for joining me, by the way.
Pleasure.
First question. Um, this year, I seem to be, every time I almost read something, it's been about M&S has been a huge cyber attack this year. They went after some big
Yeah.
names, didn't they? Co-op, Harrods. Um, has it been a more cyber attacky year, for want of a better expression, or do you think it's happening all the time? We just don't hear about it because maybe it's not.
Yeah. Let, let me throw a couple of stats at you. So, on a monthly basis across Europe, so let's say old EU or EU as is, there are around 38,500 successful cyber attacks every month.
How many?
38,500.
38,500
In the U
successful.
Yeah, and these are government stats. So in the UK, we get about 4,500 every month.
Wow.
Now, one of the soapboxes I have, because we kind of evangelize about cybersecurity as well as delivering solutions. Three things, let's say, are immediately standing out in terms of cyber at the moment. The first one is everybody is going technology driven, but actually it's the very basics that are still more prevalent and relevant, and that is people and process. If you look at some of the recent attacks, it was failure in process, it was social engineering, it was emulations, and simulations, etc. So that's first thing. Second thing is supply chain. And in supply chain, your weakest link is the businesses that are the smallest SMEs. Because my other favorite soapbox item at the moment, inequitability. Okay. And what does that mean? Well, let me give you an example. Lots and lots of businesses are doing great due diligence on their supply chain. Okay. But like any chain, it is only as strong as the weakest link. So if you are an SME and you are trying to grow your business, the inequitability of this is the cost and complexity of cybersecurity. It becomes cost prohibitive. It is technically difficult to implement, and you need resource with sufficient expertise to deliver. So, how do we, as an industry, enable these SME businesses to actually have a security posture that is sufficient to enable them to grow by getting on the relevant or getting through the relevant due diligence and governance checks with some of these larger cybersecurity businesses. So actually, if as part of that supply chain, there is an investment in the lower end, you actually increase the strength of the chain.
Yeah.
And you enable these businesses to thrive and to grow. And I'll give you a great example. We first engaged with the business some 2.5 years ago. And they were working out of, believe it or not, a porter cabin. They were a ground worker type business working with some of the lower utility businesses. They wanted to grow. They needed a cyber posture. And so we took them on this journey over the last 2 years at a lower cost that would meet their needs as they grow. And they've gone from a 2 million business to a 20 million turnover business in just over 2 years.
Wow.
And they continue to grow. So I guess the message out there to senior leadership is you see cybersecurity as a business cost when actually you should be seeing it as a business enabler. And so that mindset needs to change dramatically.
Yeah, I can relate to that, Dave, because obviously I teach stress reduction in
Yeah,
business, and very similar, right? The analogy is the same. If you invest,
absolutely.
Deloitte have put a figure on it, right? They reckon that for a good proactive mindfulness program, you get about 600% ROI. So this isn't just throwing money at some wishy-washy. There's real top and bottom line benefits aren't to both these things, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this, Dave. So I think we're talking, like I say, we're talking August 2025, and so the pressure around cyber is real. I read I think it was in the Times, hundreds of millions that M&S have lost because of this cyber attack, right? And sooner or later, a beautiful business that's been around 100 plus years, someone like M&S, is probably going to get crippled by a cyber attack, right? That's not too dramatic a statement.
No,
That potentially one of these attacks one day will bring an institution like M&S to its knees, and it won't be able to recover. So that must mean there's a lot of pressure around what you do. If you're the guy that's saying, "Hey, M&S, come to me. We'll stop the bad guys. We'll get in the way. We'll catch them. We've got all the tools we need. We'll help you put all the systems in place so that you're not the ones making the headlines next week when somebody does a ransomware attack or whatever they do." That's a big pressure.
yeah, but you've just made the perfect comment there, Steve,
Go on.
because you said all of the tools. The tooling is an enabler,
Yeah.
okay? But you've still got to have the people and the processes. And I go back to my first comment.
Okay. So who
Got,
trains the people and does the processes? Do you guys do that?
yeah.
Okay.
So
So you're
so
still providing the full solution. You're still saying, M&S, come to me, and from start to finish, I'll put you in as best position as you can possibly be to survive any ransomware attack. Is that fair?
not just ransomware, mate.
But
Okay.
cyber,
Yeah.
yeah.
So cyber attacks can manifest in multiple manners.
Yeah.
At the basic level, and I keep harping on about this to clients, if you want to go and spend gazillions on the latest cyber technology and what have you, still comes down to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you start to analyze a lot of the larger attacks, it tends to be either a failure in process or a failure in people.
Mm.
And that means it's constant training. It's constant training of not just your technical people, but your people on the shop floor.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity, like data and data governance, it's everybody's responsibility.
Yeah.
Whether you are, on the shop floor or whether you are the CEO of a major PLC,
Mm.
it's everybody's responsibility.
Mm.
So therefore, you should have ongoing training that is relevant to the needs of the organization and the roles that they perform.
Yeah.
Okay. And obviously that training goes up in complexity as you go up the food chain. The second thing is, in terms of your processes, ensure that your processes meet the needs of the business and the needs of your cyber posture. So, very simple example. Somebody leaves your organization, if they have access to data or to cyber or infrastructure, you call them there and you remove their access.
Mm.
Yeah. Very quickly, you build out processes that say somebody is leaving the day that they leave. we take out all of their privileges, we take out all of their access to our systems. And you'd be amazed at the number of people, the number of businesses we go into where this takes 3 months, or it doesn't get action at all.
Yeah.
When we do an audit.
Yeah.
Okay. So that all feeds in to your business continuity planning. And BCP is an integral part of your cyber posture. Yeah. Because it's about, if you do get attacked, how do you continue the business? How does the business continue to trade whilst your guys are resolving the problem that's materialized?
Yeah.
So having sufficient BCP, testing your BCP, evolving your BCP as threats start to evolve into the business, and be proactive as opposed to reactive when you get attacked.
Yeah. So you've got a busy job, Dave. You're co-founder, director of Parking, like I said.
Yeah.
How are your stress levels? Would you say you're a calm person generally? What would
I would say, as a founder, as a co-founder, there are moments when you are trying to build out a business where the stress is unbelievable. If anybody would have told me 5 years ago, the highs and the lows that you get as a founder, I might have thought twice about doing this.
really?
Yeah, and the stress, in terms of scaling the business, in terms of, on one hand, you are working with clients and delivering quality, and then at the same time trying to find time to drive that business going forward. That's where the stress is. That's where the real stress is. It's not working with clients. Working with clients is a joy,
Right.
because you actually come out of a client saying, I've actually done something really good there.
Yeah.
I'm protecting investment. I'm protecting people's jobs. I'm protecting the salaries. I'm putting food on their table. They're able to pay the mortgages.
Yeah.
And coming out of there with that mindset is a great feeling. Then you flip to the other side and you've got your VAT, you've got your accounts, you've got cash flow forecasting, you've got all the admin, you've got to pay the staff, you've got to do your bank recs, and all of that is where the real stress actually starts to manifest.
Right. So how do you, if someone's watching this, nodding like the Churchill dog, saying, "Yes, Dave, I'm a founder. I know exactly what you're talking about." What top tips could you give them? How do you manage your stress? Give us some real practical stuff that you picked up over the years that helps you to stay sane amidst the madness.
So previous years, I would have played rugby on a Saturday and taken it out on the opposite prop. That's just life. Unfortunately, the knees don't allow that anymore. I'm getting too old for this, Steve, I tell you. But I hate the gym. I hate being a gym bunny. I need to play sport.
Right. Okay.
And 3 years ago, I became a paddle bore.
Oh, did you?
I found padel about 3 years ago, before it really took off in the UK, and I've never looked back. I play with 7 of my really good mates every Sunday morning, and I try to fit in a couple of games during the week. Now that's great for sport and health. I think there are 2 other things that I've changed quite significantly in my life. I try to get better sleep.
How?
Okay. I do a lot of relaxation.
Right.
Okay. And actually, I've rediscovered being an avid reader at night.
Okay.
So taking the TV out of my bedroom, and I'll read for half an hour. And it doesn't matter what the book is. It's just a matter of relaxing, calming yourself down, and I go, I go to sleep. Okay, so that's great. I've also changed eating habits. You know what it's like when you're scaling, when you're founding a company, scaling it, when you're out and about, you're grabbing a sandwich off the local petrol station shelf
Mm.
that invariably isn't that healthy and tastes crap anyway, you know. So I try and eat a lot healthier than I used to. Um, and I find I have a lot more energy and I'm not as irritable. Um, Weekends, I do really try to keep to myself, although that's not always possible. There are business impacts at a weekend sometimes, but I try to keep them as a minimum. And I just try to keep a healthy balance between my work and my private life.
What's the highest stakes situation you've ever been in, Dave, and how did you get through it?
The highest state, oh my word, that was probably about 10 to 12 years ago. And I was working on a £38 million program of work. And it was going dramatically pear shaped. It was in a hugely dysfunctional organization. The leadership was a very 1990s type leadership. And you had, in terms of the program, they were first to go onto a new platform, which you never do. Never go first.
No.
Never go with an organization that has never done a data migration previously. So everything that could go wrong, including dysfunctional resource, it was there. And it was literally, oh my God, what have I walked into? And I came to a point on that program when, for my own health, I should have walked away, and I didn't.
Right.
That was professional pride.
Was it?
Yeah. I need to get this over the line. I'm not walking away. I
And
don't walk away.
was that you saying to yourself, I need to walk away from this? Or was that other people looking saying, Dave, we can see this, you need to walk away from this?
It was both.
Right.
Yeah. Um, and I should have listened to my own voice, my own instinct,
Yeah.
because it was just the worst transformation program that I've ever been on.
Yeah.
And I walked away from that damaged, and it took me about 3 months to recover.
So you finished it. You didn't walk away from it when you thought you should.
No, I finished it.
You
I got
finished
it
it.
over the line.
And then after that, it kind of hit you, the stress of it all hit you, and it took you 3 months off.
Yeah, I took a holiday, and I don't remember the holiday.
Really?
Yeah, I had 2 weeks where I just slept, and I don't remember that holiday at all.
Oh, wow.
That's how bad it was. And I was bordering on, I think, a breakdown at that point.
Yeah.
Luckily, care of family, care of friends, I kind of turned that corner. Took some time out, took 3 months out, kind of certainly reevaluated what I wanted in terms of a career and the direction I wanted to go to. And I found I found my perfect home after that. I found an organization that was the complete opposite, the complete antithesis of everything that was there. You know, amazing leadership, amazing colleagues, a framework for growth, a framework for health and wellness. We were one of the first organizations, I believe, alongside, I think Virgin Money also did this in terms of nutrition for staff. We even had, for the ladies in the organization, we even had at that point, and I'm going back to about 2017 now, we even had menopausal support for ladies, either early onset or late onset. You know, it really was just the framework that I would want employees of Park and Eel to work within.
Yeah, nice.
So I'll take those lessons and build them into our business.
So you mentioned kind of three core principles earlier. I just want to rattle through these to run out of time. But you mentioned kind of good sleep, nutrition. What's the third one? Sleep, nutrition. One other thing that you said that really helps you to sport. Thank you. So exercise, sleep, nutrition. Was there anything in those 3 months you did above the exercise, sport, and nutrition that kind of rebuilt you and centered you and got you back to the resilient Dave?
All three.
It was just those.
I needed all three.
Yeah, and the space to do it properly.
Myself. And I also need some time to evaluate my own thinking around what direction of travel I was going to go on in my career.
Yeah.
And what was absolutely amazing with that is that when I joined that organization, business called Arrow Global Group PLC, I met my business partner.
Oh, nice.
And we worked together really closely in a corporate world. And then we transitioned out and set up Park and Eel together.
Perfect. Something's meant to be.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
Let me finish with some quick fire questions if you don't mind. Morning person or evening person? Where will we find Dave?
Morning person.
Yeah, up with the lark, are you? Up and out?
Yeah. Always have been.
If I need to get a hold of you, Dave, am I ringing your phone or am I sending you an email?
Ringing my phone. Talk to me. Don't text me. Don't email me.
Okay.
I like to hear a voice and know who I'm talking to.
Nice. Old school. Nice.
Yeah.
Favorite food, mate?
Oh, God. If I'm off the diet or on the diet.
Let's have a cheat day. Let's have a cheat day.
A cheat day, steak and chips every day. A proper good healthy meal, fish. I love my fish.
Lovely, me too. Favorite book?
Oh God, I'm gonna go right back to when I was a kid, and it was the Tales of Robin Hood.
Tales of Robin Hood.
Yeah,
love it.
Everyone needs a hero, even though that is, semi-fictional. If we're talking about that, great. If we're talking about professional, black box thinking, which I thought was a real revolutionary book in the way that we take lessons learned and apply them in business and continuous improvement.
Yeah. Guilty pleasure.
Oh, guilty pleasure. A sneaky pint in my favourite underground establishment in Manchester.
Oh, nice. What you ordering, Dave?
I love Spanish and Portuguese beer.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Or guilty secret in terms of alcohol, a Negroni.
Nice.
Yeah.
If you can invite anyone over for dinner, live or dead, who would it be?
Oh, Winston Churchill.
Good choice. I think he'd be a good dinner guest, wouldn't he?
He would.
He'd have a few...
not just from the politics, but he had such an interesting early life.
Yeah, he'd have some good stories, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. We're out of time, but Dave, thank you so much for joining me on Decoding Calm. I really appreciate it.
Steve, it's been a pleasure, mate. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.